Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Joyride podcast. I feel like such a professional today because I have my camera up for the first time because, as I mentioned in the last episode, I am now going to be putting these episodes up on YouTube. And now I'm like, I gotta look into the camera, I gotta speak into this mic, I gotta make sure that we are doing both at the same time. So bear with me on this journey because I don't know if my camera's gonna last. I should have charged it last night. But we are here for the second episode of 2025, and I am so excited about this episode. Also, I'm like kind of scared about what I'm gonna be doing with my hands because I'm a big hand talker. So this is gonna be really fun to watch back, but I am so excited to be getting into this episode with you. Did I forget to do my intro? Let's do it now. I'm Rebecca Joy. Welcome to the Joyride podcast. Welcome back for another hot fire episode into my life and my truth and my authentic voice and expression and all the things. So I just recently hit a very important milestone in my business. I just hit my 2-year mark. Well, I like to call it my business birthday on 1/11, January 11th, because that is the day that I announced on social media that I was bringing my coaching business to life. So it's not like the actual birthday of like the birth of the idea, but I call it my birthday. So I celebrated that on Saturday. I had a photo shoot with a girlfriend of mine and it went really, really well. I also just recently dyed my hair. I was thinking back to how many hair colors I had in 2024. Bitch, we had a lot. We had a lot of hair colors because, listen, I'm a Gemini moon. A bitch likes change, okay? And when I'm going through something emotional, I like to change my hair. So I was thinking how many times last year I changed my hair and I was like, damn, bitch, you were going through a lot. I had blonde. I had super blonde. Then I went back to brunette. Then I went dark. Then I was brunette again. And then, well, technically I changed my hair most recently in 2025, but I changed my hair a lot because we were going through a lot of change. And when I took these newer photos, my higher self was shining through and it was so evident. And we will get into this, but I always like to capture myself on camera during really big transformative periods of my life, because truly my higher self just shines through. And it's become even more evident over the years. I mean, especially within this past year, every photo shoot that I did, I was like, damn, bitch, is this really you? Like, who is this? This is crazy because I don't feel or look like this in the everyday. Like today, I did my makeup for y'all. My hair is kind of like, disregard the hair because it's real gross, but I'm going to hot Pilates tomorrow, so I'm going to wash it. But I put on makeup for y'all and, you know, taking these photos, looking truly like in my most prime elite form, I'm like, I could be feeling like this a lot more often. Like I really, really could. And that's something that I am working on in this year because I have always felt called to share my truth, to share my voice, but the way that I share it in the past has been it doesn't matter what I look like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. When I'm channeling and something's coming through, I want to push it out and I want to share it. I've never been one to like really plan the way that I share my voice and share my content, but I'm really working on treating my business as a business this year because I have big, big, big desires for everything under the Rebecca Joy brand. And a part of that is showing up as my higher self, showing up as the woman that is put together, showing up as this person that, you know, I can watch a piece of content back and be like, yeah, I feel really good watching this. I don't know if anyone can relate to this, but a lot of times I feel like, okay, well, my message is out there, but like, I don't really feel great about the way that I look, which again, it's not all about looks. It's not all about vanity, but when we are progressing and evolving and transforming, it's like I want to feel really connected to everything about this piece of content that I'm putting out there. So anyways, had this photo shoot. It went real well. By the way, if you see me like looking over here, it's because my computer's over there. We're figuring this out, okay? This is our first time doing this, and I'm just like really hoping that my camera doesn't die on me. But I have so many lessons, so much insight, and so much advice that I want to share with you now hitting this 2-year mark in my business. I fully feel like I'm credible enough to share everything that I'm sharing. Not to say that I wasn't credible a year ago or even 2 years ago when I first started, but you just learn so much about yourself truly in every aspect of my life because I created this business. I have learned so much about me personally, about me professionally, and I just now feel like I'm actually credible enough to be sharing a lot of this advice because 2 years in the game, I'm like, okay, I'm still maybe a beginner, but I know way more than I knew 2 years ago. There are so many things that I wish I would have known. So this is like really me talking to my past self. Whether you are a new business owner, you are still growing and building and scaling, or whether you just like to listen to me and you want to hear my advice, this is for you. So I'm so proud of hitting this 2-year mark. Let me just start off with saying, do I wish that I could go back and do it all over again? Fuck no. Hell no. No. There is nothing that I've done in my life where I feel like, oh, if you could just give me this chance to go back, I would. I really don't feel that way, and I think that's a good thing. Like, I have gone through every season of my life, even thinking back to like high school and college and all of these things. Yes, there were phases of my journey where things were brighter and things were lighter, and I felt more like Rebecca and more like myself, but I wouldn't want to go back because I'm always transforming. I'm always evolving. I'm always gaining more information about myself. And I'm just getting better with time. I'm just getting better with age. Like, that is who I am as a person. And I've learned so much about myself in these past 2 years. And what I'm finding is really my true value and really showing up, not just showing up authentically, but really owning like, these are my gifts and these are my skills and these are my talents. And I'm not afraid of showing that. I'm not embarrassed of showing that because I've always known that I am the self-development girl. Like, I can go back in the day towards having conversations with exes or like just going through really tough times, having like weird comments be made to me from friends. Oh, we get it. You like to work out. You're so pretentious because you don't drink this and that. And just, there was always this thing about me, not necessarily embarrassment, but it's like not fully owning, like, I just love self-development and I love growth and I love getting better. And I do all of these things because that's what I'm built to do. Like, if I go into my astrology, if I go into my human design, there are so many markers that show me like I just love to grow and I love to develop. So I'm now at this stage in both my personal and professional life where I feel more honest in sharing that with the world. And it's hard because I know that a lot of people have taken the things that I do, they take it personally. I don't know why. I have never been one to understand why people are taking my actions personally. I actually was asking Mr. ChatGPT some questions this morning about my North Node, which is in Libra, and my South Node, which is in Aries. I have always been a very, very independent, self-focused individual. I have never truly understood why people look at the things that I am doing in my life and take offense towards. Like, oh, she thinks she's so much better than me because she meditates, because she journals, because she does this and that, and she works out all the time. I'm like, what the fuck does this have to do with you? I'm not even thinking about you. I am so self-absorbed and so self-focused on myself. You are not even crossing my mind. So it's been an interesting challenge to overcome that and to understand like where that's coming from. And I don't just want to turn this into a blanket statement and say that, you know, the people that are feeling some type of way towards people who are in their bag doing their thing are all jealous and all triggered and all insecure. But I do feel like there's got to be something there that is causing you to experience this type of emotion within yourself? Like, why are you so bothered by someone that is focused on getting better? I would think that you would view this as inspiration and see it as inspiration and see it as a source of empowerment. Oh, this person is focused on getting better, whether that's with their health, their wellness, their profession, their relationships, take that as inspiration. So that's something that I've really come to terms with over the past few years. Like, this is truly what I'm here to give to the world. And I have felt so many different emotions over the past few years, but a lot of people have looked at me because of what I'm putting out on social media, and they have said things to me like, it looks like you're thriving, it looks like you're doing so well. And I have felt a lot of anger and a lot of frustration over the past few years, because it's not just that I'm running a business and I'm selling product. I have done that in the past. I used to sell on Amazon. I was selling a physical product that had nothing to do with me. I wasn't selling Rebecca. Now with this business, I am selling myself. I'm selling my energy. I'm selling my knowledge. I'm selling these specific skills that, of course, it's not like only I have them, but like very few people have these specific skills and have the specific knowledge. So I'm wrapping that all up into one package, and I'm selling myself to people. So, when I'm not thriving, there has been a lot of anger and a lot of frustration. And I realized that over the past few years, I just felt really angry at the world because people weren't getting it. I'm like sitting here thinking, I have these gifts and I have this knowledge, and I truly have these things in my arsenal that can, honest to God, change someone's life. Because when I found out about human design, and when I started studying astrology and Kabbalah and law of attraction and manifestation, all these things, and I started to implement all these things, in addition to focusing on what I was eating, my wellness, a culmination of all these things, right? Self-development things. My life truly started to change. I felt awakened. I felt like I found my purpose, and I'm now in my calling. So, it was really hard on me to be giving this to the world and for people to not be receiving it and to not understand it. But at the same time, I also had this feeling or this emotion about me where it's almost like I set myself up to fail in a lot of ways, because I felt this energy of defensiveness. I felt like, well, I don't give a fuck if people don't get it. Like, I have to do this. And it was more like, I have to do this, and I have to go against the grain, and I have to make these people understand, even if they aren't willing or ready to understand, and they aren't willing, ready, and able to open themselves up to what I have to give to them. So I had to release that. I had to release this feeling, this emotion of like almost battling people. And then on the other side of that, my Gemini moon is either like, I'm about it, or like, I don't give a fuck about this. So then it's like, I found myself a lot of times doing all of these tasks and doing all of these things, even though, again, I set myself up to fail. And I thought, no one's going to fucking read this email, but I'm going to do it anyways. No one's going to read these daily posts on LinkedIn, but I'm going to do it anyways. And you never want to set yourself up to fail. I am now learning, a few years in, when you're in the beginning stages, there are a lot of things that you will have to do on your own, because no one knows what this business is or who you are, okay? We're not quite you, even though you may think that you're an expert. And when I first started, I'm like, I'm a fucking expert. I'm a life coach. I was born to do this. I'm ready to do this. That's great and all. But like, I felt so superior, and I hadn't earned my way there yet. Like, I had to do so many of these things and tasks that I wasn't necessarily skilled in, or I didn't want to do, because when you're just starting, it's all on you, okay? I believe it takes time for you to either gain more of those skills or to meet people and outsource people, who have the skills that you don't have. So in the beginning, I'm doing all these things and I'm feeling like, fuck this, I don't have the skill, I don't know how to do this. Like, I have mentioned this multiple times already on the podcast, but I came into this business with sheer just like grit and passion and emotion. And I would think about giving people my energy and my essence. And I would start to cry because I just knew, I knew that I had to do this, but I didn't go to school for marketing. I didn't really know much about building a personal brand and how that would affect me in my business. I had no business plan. I had no marketing plan. I just did it. I fucking just did it. I, got certified in human design, and I incorporated that into some type of coaching structure and strategy, even though I had really no business strategy, again, no foundation. And I thought, how do I want to market this to people? I don't really know, but we're just going to try things out. So I reached out to a shit ton of different influencers and content creators because my mind thought, if I can give someone an experience and I can, change someone, or if I can give them some type of illuminating, transformative experience that's going to change their life in some way, they're going to want to share about it. So I gave so much of myself out for free. And this is a tip that I want to give. I was thinking, this is my first tip. This is my second tip. I don't know. I've already lost track. This whole episode is going to be tips and tricks and insight and advice. But a big piece of advice that I would give is give out yourself for free. You have not built this level of trust yet. People don't know you as the expert. That only comes with time. That only comes with putting in the reps. That only comes with you being dedicated and devoted and committed and showing up. So, you've heard all of the legends say this, maybe it takes 3 years, maybe it takes 10 years, maybe it takes 20 years, but it's you putting in that effort, maybe not every single day because maybe just that doesn't work with your lifestyle, but you giving things to people. Like, I gave away so many sessions for free. And what was cool is people didn't know that. So people on social media, I'm giving you all the tea right now, people saw me sharing about these very well-known content creators and influencers and podcast hosts and business owners. They probably thought, oh, damn, Rebecca's doing some big shit over here if she is giving this person a session or, having a session with this person. Listen, people don't need to know everything. Like, I'm sharing all of this with you now, 2 years later, but that was my preferred way of going about things. Another piece of advice is just know that you are allowed to market yourself in any way that makes sense to you. The beautiful thing about running your own business is there are so many different ways to get the word out, to, put yourself out in the media, to share your services with people. It is up to you. Seriously, it's up to you to decide, do I want to focus more offline? Do I want to focus more online? Do I want to have a mixture of both? I find for myself, I like to have a mixture of both. I have been in phases where I'm too consumed with the online. I'm too consumed and caught up with making content, feeling inspirational, coming up with these award-winning, Instagram reels, whatever it is. And then I get too sucked into that. And then I have to pull back, and then I have to take myself offline for a week or two or something. I have found that I really like to give Rebecca to both, offline and online, but that is up to you. I had so many people, so many friends, so many clients. You should do this. You should do that. I'm like, thank you so much. Didn't fucking ask. Because once you become so honest with yourself and you really sit with yourself and think through not even think through, like intuitively, instinctually, what comes easiest to you? What are the ways that you want to market yourself? I never found myself gravitating towards TikTok. It was too much for me. It was too consuming. It was too distracting. Even Instagram, that is my preferred platform, but I get so easily distracted on this thing. It's so hard for me to post a piece of content and then just leave. I'm like, ooh, what's this person doing? Ooh, what are they doing? I'm just curious. And like, I'm still working on detaching myself from getting sucked into the lives of other people just because it's there and it's in my face. But to me, it's very easy to record content on Instagram, on these platforms, or, the Instagram in and itself. Recording a podcast is very easy for me. It is a skill of mine. It is a talent of mine. So to me, I'm like, okay, I can sit down, I can record, I can create content this way, and then place it on Instagram or put it on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? There just are so many different avenues that you can take to promote yourself. I know plenty of businesses that are making good fucking money and they have no online presence. They have no digital footprint. That's what works for them. Then I know people who do nothing offline, who focus all of their energy and attention on online sources, and they're making good ass money too. So a lot of what I've learned has just come through trial and error. Okay, so sad news. My camera is dying and it just turned off. I don't know why it's still on 11%, but we're just going to continue with this podcast episode and I'm going to figure out the YouTube video situation another time when my camera is fully charged, unfortunately, because I look good right now. But anyways, let's get back into it. There just are so many different ways that you can market yourself. There are Facebook groups and Reddit and TikTok and Instagram and blogs and podcasts and just, hopefully you didn't just hear my stomach. Getting yourself, published in magazines and being interviewed. Like, there just are 1,000 million trillion different ways to market yourself, which I think is amazing. I felt very overwhelmed over the past few years because there are so many different ways to market myself and put myself out there. But I really had to take the time to ask myself, Rebecca, what is the way, or what are the ways that you want to show up and give your gifts to the world? And now I have found some strategy that is working for me right now, and I am positive that things will change, in the near future as I gain more clients, as I gain more opportunities, as my pillars and my values shift. I see myself recording in a podcast studio one day. I see myself getting sponsors. I see myself traveling more, having more opportunities internationally and across the US, being interviewed on other people's podcasts, being on TV, writing a book, like doing all these things. So, you are constantly shifting your marketing plan, if you can call it that. I think that we should constantly be shifting the way that we are showing up, because it just is going to depend on where you're at in your business, where you're also at personally in your life. Are you single? Are you with a partner? Like, what time do you have to dedicate to this growing business of yours? But it really all comes back to you being so honest with yourself. You shouldn't have to convince yourself to do something. If it feels forced, if it doesn't feel good, don't fucking do it. Like, I have tried so many different things, and if they didn't feel right to me, I didn't do it. It doesn't matter if this is the award-winning way. It doesn't matter if someone on TikTok told you you're going to gain 1 million followers overnight. Listen, if it doesn't truly feel in alignment with you, it's not going to work. That is my biggest piece of advice for anything life-related, but also business-related. You have to follow your inner guidance system. You have to follow your truth. You have to follow your intuition. Just because someone else says that this worked for them, that does not mean that this is going to work for you. And you have to be your biggest cheerleader, and you have to be your biggest advocate. I felt really frustrated over the past few years because I was putting way too much focus and attention on hoping that other people would share about me, hoping that other people would plug me, hoping that other people would connect me. People did, and people continue to plug me and connect me. But I am constantly reminding myself that it is up to me to grow this business. Yes, we can always leverage media and we can leverage other people, but I really believe that the fuel here is my belief in myself. And I have found myself over the past few years getting way more comfortable with sharing about my business in person. Also, I get to see my superpowers and my gifts just come out in random conversations with people. Even this morning, I was talking about a new manager at my gym, and he asked about my workout, what I did. And then I started kind of just like giving him this life coach sermon because he was telling me, you know, I'm not really prioritizing my workouts, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I'm like, listen, dude, you work at a gym. You have to prioritize yourself before anyone else. How can you show up for your entire team if you aren't showing up for yourself? And then I get into, you know, he asks me how I got into being a life coach. And it now is to the point where I believe in myself and I see my value. So it just comes out effortlessly. I'm not forcing it. I'm not giving myself this mental script of, okay, today you're going to go into the grocery store and you're going to talk to someone, or, you know, you're going to force yourself to talk about your business or do something. I remind myself, and a lot of times it comes up in random situations like that, or at the dentist, or in the grocery store, or you're here, you're there. Like, you have to work on really building this muscle of being comfortable talking about yourself and talking about your business, because you have to be your number one hype man or hype woman. You just have to be. You have to be your number one fan, because if you're not, how do you expect anyone else to be? Like, you just can't. You have to be your number one advocate for what you are giving to other people. And with that comes knowing your value. I was at dinner with one of my best friends this past Saturday night celebrating my 2-year anniversary, and she is running a side business, part-time business, and she was all excited telling me how much money she made last year. It was her first year running this business, and I was just like flinging all of this business insight and advice and sharing her all of these things that I wish I would have known at the beginning stages of running this business and this journey. And she was so grateful of everything that I was sharing with her. And I was saying, like, you know, I want to protect you and I want to help you mitigate all of these mistakes and errors that I made. And a lot of what I shared with her comes back to seeing and recognizing and owning your value. I was a lot hot-headed when I first started this business, because I have felt like I have been a life coach for well over 2 years. I have infused being this source of inspiration and empowerment and embodying a life coach for what feels like almost 10 years. But I didn't create this business until 2 years ago. So I came in thinking, you know, I'm super talented and I've got these gifts and everyone should work with me and I'm amazing, which is great. But at the same time, I didn't fully see my value. So what happened was I didn't establish clear boundaries. I really, really had to take the time at the end of last year to redefine my boundaries, to redefine what a boundary is, what that looks like for me, both in my personal life and my professional life. Because when you're working for yourself, honey, it's all one. There is no, okay, we're clocking out now. Nope. It's all one and the same. Okay. They just merge together. That's just what happens. So I overgave so much of myself to clients and to people, and I did not know how to set a boundary between getting back to friends, focusing on my business. I was so fucking distracted over the past 2 years, and so much of me was just like waiting. I would check my email incessantly. I would check social media, just like waiting for the DM to say like, yeah, I want to work with you. I did not set up clear boundaries for myself. What happens if you don't set up boundaries for yourself because you don't see your value and you don't own it? People take advantage of it. It just is human nature. I have done it in the past and I'm not proud of it, but I didn't know. I took advantage of other people because I was, doing the same thing for myself. It's so much easier to recognize things in other people when you see it in yourself, or vice versa. Now that I very clearly see my value, and it's still something, you guys, that I will continuously work at, because it still is hard for me to fully accept, I'm really, really gifted and I'm an expert and I can truly change someone's life. I have a clearer sense of that value, but I just know that it is something that I will continuously have to work at. Maybe not for the rest of my life, but I'm still in a phase of my journey where I'm working at really recognizing my value and holding not just myself to a very high standard, but matching that with what I charge people, with what my prices are for my services, and keeping my boundaries in place, keeping that structure to support me, to support my flow, to support the value that I'm here to give to other people in place, because people just will take advantage of that because they don't know. So as early on as you can, and again, everything in your business will constantly shift in the first few years. Now, I can't speak beyond that because I'm not there yet, but I will continue to update you as time moves on. But for the first few years, so many things, your marketing, your branding, at least this was the case for me because I didn't have a clear sense of what my branding was, what my marketing was. So again, my first few years were a lot of trial and error and experimentation. Let go. Just throw shit at the wall, see what sticks, see what doesn't stick, see what you like, see what you don't like, but set boundaries up front, because if you don't, people will take advantage of you. What's going to happen is you are going to constantly overgive to people, and then you're going to feel like shit because you're going to feel like, well, these people are, taking advantage of me, and I'm not getting paid as much as I should, and you're going to feel like you are constantly going to have to give more and more and more to people. Now, what I mentioned earlier about giving is in the beginning stages, you want to give as much as you can, but give from a place of, I want to give. Don't give from a place of, I have to give this to this person. I have to give a free session. I have to give a free product. Like, I was happy to give to people in the beginning. Now, I did give a little too much at times, but again, this all comes back to tuning in with yourself. You will know when it's too much. Like, if I'm growing my business and no one knows who the heck I am and what I have to give to them, I'm going to give some free sessions out. I'm going to say like, hey, I'm going to give you an hour-long human design chart reading session. Maybe it's to an influencer or a content creator. They post about me. I get X amount of followers. I get X amount of new clients in. To me, it's giving with intention and it's giving with purpose. Now, I have also had clients who paid me, but then let's say that they don't work with me anymore, but they're still wanting to talk with me on the phone or text me or this or that. This is where you have to establish your boundaries. I have had multiple clients that I love. I love them. They're great people and I know that they mean well, but I can tell because I am so connected to myself and I'm so connected to my intuition. I know when a client is overstepping, and I know when they are trying to take more than what they're giving. Because if you tell me, I really want to catch up with you, let's talk on the phone, blah, blah, blah. But the whole time you're asking me advice and you're wanting my advice and you're asking me all these questions, I'm like, that's a session and you could have paid $300 for that. So I really had to learn the hard way. And a part of me was like, okay, well, I'm seeing my gifts in action. So this is great because it's reminding me again, this is what I'm here to do. This is what I'm here to give. That's great and all. But also, this is my job now. This is not just a hobby. This is not something that I want to be doing on the side. This is not a part-time thing for me. if I want to take this to the next level, if I want to really view myself as this authority figure, I have to value the value that I'm giving, and I have to value my time and energy. Say no to people. Establish clear boundaries because it is going to protect you. If it pisses people off, that's fine. They're not your people. They're not the people that you want to be buying from you. You know, if people say, "Oh, well, this is way too expensive for me," then you know what? They don't value what you're giving, and that's okay. I felt really frustrated and really angry when people would mention something about my prices or, "Oh, this is too expensive for me because of this, that." It's all just excuses, okay? I have done it myself. You know, there are things that I find to be too expensive for me in my life right now, and that is okay because either I don't see myself as being valuable enough where I can afford that, or it just is not something that I value. And that's not a bad thing, right? Like, we all place value on different things and different people. We all prioritize different things. So I have really had to learn to not take things personally over the past few years, because when I have people unsubscribe to my emails, when people reach out to me for a consult, I call them and they don't pick up, or they say that they're interested in a session and they never get back to me, or they meet with me once and they don't want to work with me again. You have to learn to just let it go. Having your own business, you either sink or swim, and you learn to either have thick skin or not. I find myself sometimes still being like, ugh, like, why did they unsubscribe from my email? Or, ugh, why did they never get back to me? But there are so many things that are not in my control, that are not in your control as a business owner. You have to learn, where do I want to put my control? Where do I want to put my energy? Because if I choose to focus on the people that don't see me as having value, that don't care to opt into my emails, that met with me once and I could just tell from the energy, I'm like, oh yeah, they won't be back again. If I choose to focus on those people, and if I choose to focus on the people that have no interest in what I'm doing or what I'm giving or what I'm selling, I'm not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get anywhere. You cannot focus on those people. There was this big part of me that was so focused on changing the minds of people. Oh, I feel like I could get them in, or, you know, I feel like I could just completely change their life. There has to be this level of curiosity and openness. I have had plenty of people that had no idea about human design, but slowly over time have opened up to self-development and self-growth. And it's only because I continue to show up. And that's the really cool, beautiful thing about this. We can't control who walks in the door. I now know the client that I want to be attracting. I didn't know. It was so hard for me to come up with this, I don't know, there's like a fancy marketing term for it, but the identity of my ideal client. Now I can visualize multiple identities of people that I want to work with. You know, how much money they have, what they do for a living, what their values are. For me, I'm really, really big on what people value, because I know that anyone that works with me in any type of capacity or engages in my content, listens to my podcast episodes, these are people that value themselves, value their self-growth, value their development, value getting better, value their health, value their mental health, value creativity and expression. I could go on and on and on. The people that don't opt in, we have different values, and that is okay. You have to let go of trying to change everyone's mind, of trying to get everyone on board, because it's very simple. Everyone values something different. Everyone has different priorities, and it's not up to you to change their mind. But you are going to change a lot of people if you continue to show up and do your thing and not worry about those people. And now I'm really, really coming around to that. And again, letting go of this, whether it's guilt or shame or feelings of defensiveness of like, oh, I just need to change people's lives and I just need to do this. If people think that I'm so self-absorbed because I'm so obsessed with self-discovery and self-development and growth, you can think that way. If it really triggers you and really bothers you that I love to work out and it makes me feel really good and I do, biohacking things and I meditate and I journal and I feel called to express myself in many different ways, if that bothers you, that's not my problem. I would hope that for the right people, you're going to find me and what I do inspirational, and you're going to find what I'm giving, to be really, really empowering. But if not, that's totally okay, because we all have different interests. We all have different values and priorities, and that's just a part of this game. This is a part of the whole journey and the whole story here. But you have to be constantly checking in with yourself and keeping yourself in check. Are you giving too much of yourself out? Are you not staying true to your boundaries? Are you not, pouring your energy into the channels and the ways that you want to be doing it? Are you letting yourself get distracted? I mean, it really wasn't until the end of last year where I started to really hone in on my levels of productivity. I was always like, you know what? I'm super emotional and I'm creative. And if I just feel called to do something, I'm going to do it. Now I know what I need to do to get myself in a flow state. Very easy. I turn off my phone. I eliminate distractions. Even if I don't want to do something, like even recording this podcast, I'm like, it's going to take me so long to set up this camera. And what if the lighting sucks? And what if my camera dies and this and that? I did it. I fucking did it. It took me no time at all. I set it up. Listen, my camera died halfway. It is what it is. I'm letting go of the perfectionism. I'm letting go of, allowing myself to be distracted in so many different ways, because I'm really focused on my growth and on my development and taking my business to new heights. So in order to do that, I have to really hone in on what I'm here to give and what I'm here to do. And because of that, I now know where I want to be pouring my energy, where I want to experience a creative flow state. And because I now know that, it is easier for me to either put off a lot of the tasks that I don't like doing or get help or outsource. This is a huge piece of advice that I want to share with you all. Over the past few years, people I think are going to give you so many different pieces of advice when it comes to getting help and outsourcing. What I have found to be so true for me and my own business is the quicker that you decide what you want to be focusing your energy on, the quicker that people will come into your life to help you where you are weak. I was the girl that was trying to do it all many, many years ago when I was in my Amazon journey, doing all of that over the span of the past few years, running different businesses. When it comes to my coaching business, I knew from the get-go, I knew what I liked and I knew what I didn't like. And I was still experimenting over the past few years, but because of that, I have gone through stages where I am fucking depleted and I'm like, fuck, I need help. I don't know how to create a website. I'm going to get help on that. I need help with my strategy. I'm going to get help on that. I don't know how to do this with marketing. I'm going to get help on that. And because I made the decision with myself, this is where I want to focus my energy. I know that I am meant to be the creative outlet. There are a ton of behind the scenes detailed admin tasks that I actually thoroughly enjoy. So I don't really have a desire to be handing those off to someone. But the quicker that you decide this is where I want to pour my energy, and then you ask for help from the universe, you guys, I wish I had some social proof to show you, but I have had so many people come into my life miraculously to help me where I am weak. It is truly been the biggest blessing in my life of growing this business, because I now feel like I have got a team, and I don't like actually have a team where I'm paying out all these people, but I have people that I can turn to, that I can lean on during certain phases of my journey where I know that I need that help, because I made that decision with myself. I don't care about these things. I also don't care about developing this skill. And I think that's something that you have to have a conversation with yourself about, is this a skill that I want to develop or not? And there are so many skills that I believe that you need when it comes to having a successful business that I don't care to learn. That is just me. I know where I want my energy to go. To me, I am focused on being the best coach possible. I am focused on being a source of creative expression. I am focused on sharing my voice and my authentic truth. I put a lot of my focus and energy on the actual creation side. A lot of the marketing and business strategy and planning and personal branding, even all that stuff doesn't come naturally to me. When I think about what brings me excitement in my business, it's not looking at hex colors all day and picking out fonts and working on a website. I've had to do that in the past, but I'm now getting help from people who are skilled in, these certain areas. And I'm so grateful, because I know that these people have shown up in my life miraculously and honestly so fucking quickly. That's another thing. Once I decide, I don't need that skill, I don't want that skill, I don't want to focus on that skill, it is so insanely crazy how quickly these people show up in my life. Seriously, try this out for yourself. Look at where you want your energy to go in your business, where you don't want it to go, but listen, I know that I need this piece in order to get me to where I want to go. So God, universe, whoever you're praying to or expressing gratitude to, ask for that help. And I promise you that these people will show up. And this makes what you're doing even better and even more special. And for me, it excites me more to know this is where I get to focus my energy, because in these other areas, things are being taken care of. And I think that that's so powerful, because your business is going to exponentially grow when you are doing the things that bring you joy, when you are doing the things that make sense to you, that excite you. It just really feels like common sense to me. Again, when you're in those beginning stages, you're going to have to be doing a lot of the things that you don't want to do. But I actually don't think that that needs to last for a very long time, because again, the quicker that you decide, this is where I want to pour my energy, this is not where I want to pour my energy, you will get help, whether that's in the form of people or big opportunities. Again, going back to, there are so many different ways to market yourself and market your business. You get to decide. It really is that easy. If you don't want to be online, don't be online then. Focus on your community, focus on your network, focus on leveraging those relationships and those connections. If that makes you uncomfortable and you're like, I actually want to be posting on TikTok 2 to 3 times a day, it's really fun for me to make content, then do it that way. We have to constantly be reminding ourselves that the power is in our own hands. We have the power to create this business. If you don't want to be focused on email marketing or, writing LinkedIn posts or blog posts, don't do it. There just is no need to force yourself to do something, because where your energy really wants to go, that's where the opportunities lie. That's where things will flow. I know that over the past few years, when I have done things because I just have to do it, and I know that people, it's I'm telling myself, I'm just going to do it, even though I know that people aren't going to click on this or watch it. I'm just setting myself up for failure. And if I'm not having fun, if I'm not enjoying doing what I'm doing, I'm like, there just is no energy that's going to be flowing through it. And I swear that people can tell. And just think about how expansive you feel, how good you feel, how like big your energy feels when you're doing something that you love. I love recording podcasts. I went through a phase for many, many months where I didn't prioritize that because I was pouring myself into other areas of growing my business that actually didn't grow it at all. And now I know, whether one person listens to this podcast or 100 people or thousands of people, I really love to do this. It makes me feel really good. It really excites me. I look forward to doing this every single week. And now I know through a lot of trial and error and experimentation, the things that I want to show up for and the things that I don't want to show up for. But only you can decide that. Other people can't decide that for you. Again, you have to take every piece of advice that someone gives you with a grain of salt. I just think that there are too many people out there saying, this is the only way. Listen, these people are simply speaking from personal experience, but it's all in the way that you phrase things to people. Like, again, there may be ways that have really, really worked for me, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for you. Everything truly comes back to what you value, and really seeing that value through your own lens and through your own perspective. Also, another piece of advice that I want to share is really seeing this business that you have, the services that you're giving, the product, whatever it is, of having importance. Like, I now know how important this work that I'm giving to the world is. Again, it may not be important to everyone, but I know that this work is important. If you are sitting here saying to yourself, oh, well, I'm doing this and it's a hobby and it's a side gig and it's a part-time thing and it's just like, remember, you're the one that is setting the foundation for the value that you are giving to other people. If you don't view what you're doing as having importance, then people are not going to see it as having importance as well. Like, people love to see people showing up that are excited, that love what they're doing. You can just like feel the devotion and feel the conviction that people have. And I think just too many people just don't see themselves as this important authority figure or whatever they're giving of being of importance. And that's why they aren't succeeding. Like, I can't establish that for you. I can only establish that for myself. If I make the time to make content and show up and record a podcast and put out newsletters, I'm just like listing off all the things that I'm doing, and show up on LinkedIn as an authority figure, like, if I deem that as having importance, then I know that other people are going to view it in that light as well. But again, coming back to the way that you perceive yourself, and this shows up in so many different ways. It shows up when you're talking to your friends. It shows up when you're talking to your parents. Like, for the longest time, I just didn't fully view what I'm doing as something that is marketable and a business. Like, I really, honest to God, treated it as like, this is a hobby, and it's like, I know that I have to be doing this, but I just was setting myself up for failure when it comes to making money and giving off this energy of, no, I'm making the time for this because it's important to me. Like, the way that I treat everything that I'm doing now is, it's important. And I'm not going to let myself get distracted. I'm going to create systems for myself where I am time blocking the things that I'm doing, because if I want this to go and move in the direction that I want it to move in, I have to treat this as my job. I have to treat it as work. Now, your job and your work doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to feel like, oh, this is work and I have to show up. Like, this all doesn't feel like work to me, but I know that it is. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you want to treat it like it has a lot of value, but if it excites you, if it's bringing you joy, if it's filling you up, if you're like, I know that this is going to change people's lives, to me, that's the energy that you want to be in. Okay, another thing that I want to share, and this may be a personal thing, but I, even as someone who feels very comfortable sharing their truth and being expressive, there has always been a part of me that's like, well, what if I offend this person? What if I offend this client? What if I offend this friend? And again, this may be a personal thing, but I have really had to learn to let that go, because the people that are successful, the people that are doing well, are not thinking about your opinion. They're not thinking about, oh, is this going to offend you? Yes or no. I do think that there is this level of empathy and compassion that people have if you are thinking about the other person. Like, you know, I have had clients who don't live their life the way that I do, or don't work out the way that I do, don't eat the way that I do, friends who live a very different lifestyle. And I never want to come off as, oh, I'm superior because I do this. But I also know that the reason why I feel that way is because of this feedback that I've gotten from people over the years. I never want someone to feel like I'm above them. But I also know that this is what I'm here to give to people. So if that pisses you off, if me sharing what I feel called to share, if me engaging in these habits and practices and routines, you know, piss you off or make you feel some type of way because you're not doing it, well, then that's a great reflection for you. And that's a great revelation for you to have. You know, I do think that there are ways where we can kind of, you know, change the way that we say things. And there are things that channel through me where I'm like, oh yeah, if I were to say this right now, this would definitely be like causing some shit. But I also know that those messages are coming from a place of ego, coming from a place of, oh yeah, maybe I do just want to share this because I want to hurt someone, or I want to make myself feel better. I want to make myself feel superior. And now I have the awareness to know, like, yeah, maybe that isn't the message that I should be sharing online with people. I think this is a better message for me to share. But you have to release the opinions and the perspectives that other people have, because that is going to keep you stuck and it's going to keep you in the same place that you were in. I am looking to big authority figures. Those are the people that I am looking to for inspiration. Who I used to look to for inspiration are people who I feel like are in my position now. But the trajectory that I'm moving in is sitting at the table with the people that are living that 1% to 2% life. Like, that's what I'm looking to for inspiration. And I know that if I, in the back of my head, keep, you know, what is this friend going to think? What is that person going to think? What is that person? I'm not going to get myself to where I want to go. So you get to choose who you are looking to for inspiration. But you also get to choose to have this mindset of, I'm going to worry about what other people think. Now, you don't want to be a shitty, horrible person, of course, but just know that if people are talking about you either in a positive or a negative way, that's a good thing. Like, I truly believe that if people aren't talking about me, if people don't have something to say, then shit, I am like not making an impact. So whether they are saying you are super inspirational, thank you for sharing this, it changed my life, or like, ugh, she is just too much for me, she's whatever it is, it's like, I know that I'm doing what I'm here to be doing. Does that make sense? Like, I have stopped myself from doing certain things or sharing certain things, and I'm now realizing, again, being a few years in and having all of this experience under my belt, I can't give any time or attention to that because I can't control what another person thinks. I can't control how they will perceive what I'm giving. That's the beauty of the world that we are living in today. We have so much access and so many different avenues to share what we want to share with the world. But it's never up to us how someone is going to perceive that. I really believe that it all depends on someone's level of openness and curiosity and their levels of self-awareness. And again, people just, we all perceive things in different ways. And I think that's really, really, really cool. And one of the most special things about life is you can be friends with someone and they can like different things. They can have different interests. They can think a certain way, but you can still have unconditional love and respect for them. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you're just like, yeah, I honor and acknowledge this person. It may not be my cup of tea, or I may not value what their value, but to me, I really respect people who I don't really have an interest in, but I see as being very themselves and so truthful and so authentic. You know, they may be sharing about things that I don't give a fuck about, but I don't look at them as, you know, I'm not triggered by them. I'm not jealous by them. I'm like, kudos to them. Good for them for being so true to themselves. And again, this all comes back to constantly meeting yourself with a level of honesty and openness and awareness, and making sure that you are coming back to what you value. We all value different things. I value self-expression. I value authenticity. I value wellness in so many different ways. I value development and discovery and all of these things, right? But you are going to value different things, you know, your time, your money, your family, your energy. That is up to you. So we have to make sure that we are staying in our own lane, keeping our boundaries very contained, and not giving a fuck what people have to say or how they're going to interpret us. I have felt so much rigidity in the past because I'm like, you know, I could be making so much more money, or I could be this, or I could be that. But it's like, we have to recognize that the way that we talk to ourselves, the way that we, you know, are speaking out loud to other people in conversation with the universe, that is shaping what is happening for us. That is shaping how much money we're making. That is shaping the opportunities that are coming across our path. That is shaping who comes into our world. It is all back on us. I watched this reel or video on LinkedIn yesterday of this girl talking about how running her own business and creating her own business has like shown her every single one of her insecurities in her life. And I could not agree with this more. Running your own business and doing your own thing in life really shows you where your weaknesses are. It also shows you where you're really, really strong. But it has shown me every area of my life where I feel fear, where I feel scarcity, where I feel lack, where I feel insecure. But it's also shown me at the same time how much power I have. It has shown me just how much I believe in myself. I hear from people all the time, Rebecca, I couldn't do what you're doing. I'm like, you could. But I think the difference with people who are entrepreneurial and running their own business and doing their own thing versus people who are not is one, like there has to be some type of desire there. You know, I don't think that everyone truly has this desire to be their own boss and do their own thing, but there has to be some type of desire there. But also there has to be this belief in oneself. Like, I do think that a lot of people secretly have this desire to run their own business, or maybe not even run their own business, but support themselves in their own way, create their own way of making money, basically. But they lack the belief in themselves. And that to me has been the biggest battle and the biggest struggle that I have dealt with over these past few years. Is like, the number one setback that I have had is this deep disappointment in myself because I didn't believe in myself enough to go where I know I'm capable of going. But I also know that I had to experience this deep level of disappointment in order to light a fire under my ass, in order to change the way that I view myself, change the way that I value myself. This has only come through a series of experiments and a series of experiences over the past few years, in order to really have this newfound sense of belief and faith in myself. And that, you guys, comes with time. Like, I now truly believe that the more time that goes on, the more that I invest in myself, the more that I invest in my business, my value is only going to grow. My belief in myself is only going to grow. The amount of money that I'm making, the experiences that I get to have, the opportunities, everything is going to grow. And that just comes with time. Like, that is the beauty of time. It's the beauty of, sitting down with a 75-year-old grandparent of yours and them sharing their life lessons with you and their wisdom, because they have gone through so much. And that only happens with time. So if you are listening to this and you're like, damn, I am so far from where Rebecca is, or I'm so far from where I need to go, just know that if you continue on with this business and you continue to put in the work, you spiritually, emotionally, physically, in all of the ways, and you continue to work at it and pour yourself into it, you are just going to get better with time. I fully believe that for myself. I fully believe that for every person that I work with. Like, I really, truly believe that. If you continuously meet yourself with honesty, create boundaries, pour yourself into what you're giving to the world, see yourself of having value, and just be patient. Be patient with the results and let time do its thing. Things will get better. You are going to learn so much. It is going to become so much easier to distinguish between, I want to do this, I don't want to do this. This is good for me and my business. This is not good for me and my business. But this all comes with time and trial and error and experimentation. You cannot expect yourself to do something once and to say, yep, this is it. It's going to take a lot of reps. It's going to take a lot of you throwing things at the wall and saying, does this work? Does it not work? So release this pressure from always getting it right, from things always working, because you will learn over time what works for you and what doesn't work for you. It's going to become so much easier to say yes when things feel really aligned, and to say no when things are not aligned, and not feel, oh my gosh, if I don't say yes to this, this is not going to happen for me. I'm not going to make this amount of money. You will learn in time all of this. And I'm so excited, in a year from now, how much I learn, and 2 years and 5 years and 10 years, when I'm 40 years old and I'm like, damn, like, I am so much more of an expert now because of time and because of the life lessons that I have learned along the way. So I'm sure that I will come up with more pieces of advice to share with you, but I will, of course, incorporate more of those life lessons in episodes to come. But yeah, I am so grateful to be hitting the 2-year mark. I'm so excited to see where I'm at in 2 years from now and beyond that. And I'm so grateful that I'm able really to share everything that I have learned over the past few years with you all, because it's super helpful to share the truth. We have enough people who are sugarcoating things. We have enough people who are, telling you really just what you want to hear. Like, I want to be brutally honest with you guys and say, this journey has been fucking hard. It's been so incredible and so magical, and it's been completely life-changing, but it has been hard. I have had so many hard days. I've had so many hard seasons. I've had moments where I feel like giving up, where I'm so unsure if this is what I should be doing, if I'm making the right decision. But I want to be able to share all that with you all, because I believe that, I'm here to share the truth, whether you agree with it or not, whether, you can relate to it or not, or resonate with it. This is my truth, and I just want to give it all to you. So thank you for listening to this episode, for being here for another week of the Joyride podcast. I appreciate you being here. I am filled with so much gratitude for you coming along this journey with me in any capacity. I would love for you to rate this podcast, to leave a comment, to share it with someone within your network. And that is all. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.